Alright, just wanted to do a short little review on the Phantom Menace in 3D. I went to see it last night, and I'm a big Star Wars fan. I love all the movies. I love the prequels, love the originals. I'm not really going to get too into the actual movie because everyone knows what it is by now. It's 13 years old. We've all seen it, or we love it, we hate it, whatever. But the movie aside, I just wanted to talk about the 3D aspect of the movie and how that holds up. Um, Pretty much, the 3D itself really wasn't that impressive to me. Um, I mean, I kind of figured that going in. I wondered how good of a job they could do with the 3D when the movie wasn't filmed in 3D, unlike, say Avatar or something like that, like Tron, that was actually filmed with 3D cameras. So none of it's really like in your face 3D popping out at you, coming out of the screen, like really impressive in your face, like wow. It's more just like depth perception, like things in the background that you wouldn't normally have noticed maybe are a little bit more clear, and the depth between the characters and the backgrounds and the things like that, the foregrounds are a little bit more clear and a little bit more distinct, but you really wouldn't notice that unless you've seen the movie a bunch of times, and it's not real noticeable. You'd have to really pay attention to notice that. Overall, just really wasn't too impressed with the 3D. I don't really think it was worth the heightened price of admission because I think the 3D tickets are a little expensive. They're a little steep. It wasn't an IMAX 3D. It was just regular 3D at my movie theater. And I'm kind of glad I wouldn't have wanted to pay all that extra money to see it in IMAX 3D when it wasn't that impressive. It was just regular, real D 3D. But yeah, I mean, it was cool to see Star Wars on the big screen again. It was cool to see the Phantom Menace in the theater because I was so young when it came out. I was only like 9 years old when that movie came out, so that was cool just for like the nostalgia factor. And but other than if you're a big Star Wars fan and you just want to see it in the theaters again, you want to get that experience again on the big screen, or let's say you want to take like a kid to see it, there's someone that has never seen it before and they've never got to see it in the theaters, then I would recommend it. One of those two. But if you're going just to see the 3D alone, to be really impressed by the 3D, I wouldn't recommend it. I don't think it's worth the price of the extra price of admission for the 3D itself. I'm not particularly excited for the next, the other movies coming out in the next couple years, because I'm sure they'll be about the same as this. The 3D just won't be that impressive. I mean, they really can only do so much with movies that aren't filmed in 3D. They were just converted to 3D. It's not the worst 3D I've ever seen. It's it's not as bad as like The Last Airbender in 3D. That was horrifying in 3D. It doesn't hurt your eyes. It's not like going to give you a headache. It just isn't enough to impress me. It's not enough to make you go pay to see these movies again. A little bit of a kind of like a nickel and diming thing. I think it's a little bit of a cheap, a little bit of like a marketing scam to claim to put them in 3D when they're not really 3D. But it is what it is. I think I kind of learned my lesson with the Phantom Menace. I don't regret going to see it because I love Star Wars, but I don't really plan on going to see the other ones in 3D, especially not the originals, just because the technology, the effects are so old and it's so dated that would really wouldn't be that impressive in 3D. But yeah, that's about it. That's just my opinion. Maybe some people were impressed with the 3D, but I personally wasn't.